Is there any fundamental investing left? Not in the stock market. I shouldn't say that. When I use that term too loosely. So when I'm talking about just the broad S&P, like if you're buying an S&P fund, like because that's what most people do in their 401k, I don't think there's any fundamentals on that at all. In fact, the last video that I did, I argued that one of the reasons I think these CEOs are drinking what I called the Klaus Schwab Kool-Aid. What's it called? I'm looking at my whiteboard. It's called Great Reset Agenda, now pushed by corporate America. So I'm talking about these CEOs like Mark Benioff with Salesforce, just really, he's like a disciple of Klaus Schwab. He even talks like him, like uses the same terminology and everything. Like if you hear quotes on Benioff about capitalism, he uses the same exact words as Klaus, and he even demonizes the exact same things, like it's a script, that Klaus passed around at the last Davos meeting, and all of the CEOs that were there that want to drink the Kool-Aid and get close to the power, the Cantillon effect. They all just memorized the script. And so the script is capitalism, free market capitalism is bad. And we need to get away from profit motive in what they call shareholder capitalism. And we need to move towards something called stakeholder capitalism, which is utter nonsense. And I walk through it in the video tomorrow, so you guys can check it out. But so they always talk about that. Then they always talk about inclusion, equality, and then they always demonize Milton Friedman. Always. Like, you guys probably don't have time to read the World Economic Forum's website like I do. But whenever you read a post from Klaus, or where he's getting interviewed, where he's talking about how we need to move away from the old form of capitalism, he always references Milton Friedman negatively. Always. And then he uses that in tandem with a word called neoliberalism, which sounds really scary until you actually look it up and see the definition of neoliberalism, and you're like, wow, that actually sounds pretty good. I like that. We need more of that, not less of that. And Benioff does the exact same thing. You get a quote from him, and he says that capitalism is bad. We don't want capitalism anymore. Yes, we need to focus on shareholders, but that capitalism that we were taught by Milton Friedman, and he uses Milton Friedman, the neoliberalism. We need that's in the past. We need to move forward. He is like a little Klaus acolyte. And so anyway, I don't even know why I was going off on that question. Let me try to, wow, I really got off on a tangent there. But my point was, if you're going to give these CEOs the benefit of the doubt that are, I don't know, probably most of the people on this feed right now would not. But if you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that their true intentions are for the benefit of society, then you've got to ask yourself, okay, why are they just trying to move away from a profit motive? Like, why would anyone that ran a corporation in the United States that started this business, that owned a business, why would you be anti-profit? Or why would you want the focus to move away from profit? And it's pretty, I think it's pretty easy in the sense that if you look at a guy like Benioff, who's been a CEO of this company for, I don't know when they started, I guess 2005 or something like that, but maybe earlier, but really when it's really taken off and he's become a billionaire and whatnot, is this era in which the Fed has been keeping interest rates artificially low and doing quantitative easing infinity, which has brought asset prices up with this Fed put that we've heard about all the time. So think about it. The last 10 years of your life, there's been no correlation whatsoever between the profitability of your company and your share price. None. None. Now you could argue, yeah, George, their profits have gone up and their share price. Okay, where would their share price be if if the Fed funds rate was at 7%? I can tell you that their share price would be far more correlated if interest rates were at 5-6%, something like that on Fed funds. So there's this big disconnect. So sure, of course, these CEOs don't care about profit. Of course, they want to give away more of the profit, or they don't want the focus to be on profit. Why? Because it's never mattered to their share price, ever. In fact, I would argue there's an inverse correlation. As the profitability of the S&P 500 goes down, I would argue the probability of their share price going up increases, because the government and the Fed are going to rush to the rescue and try to prop up their share price by creating more base money, more broad money, expectations policy, psychology, whatever it is, stimmy checks. And so, yeah, it gets you, if for 10 years you've been a CEO and profits actually don't matter, then sure, why are we focusing on profits? Why don't we just start focusing on climate change or the homeless or education? Or, forget the business. Who cares? Why are we even creating a product? Why are we creating a service? This is dumb. Well, let's just, our share price is always going to go up. So who cares what we do? Why don't we just start, instead of focusing on creating this service and increasing profits, driving prices down, taking market share, why don't we just focus on rainbows and unicorns? Sure isn't going to matter to our share price. In fact, it actually might increase our share price. So that was my argument as to if you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they're actually not motivated by their own insatiable thirst for power, if they're not in that category. And so I think most of you would say they're probably in that category. And I outline that extensively in the video. In fact, tomorrow, that might be the longest video I've ever done. It might be like 50 minutes. I really went into it because I had so much that I wanted to get off my chest about this shareholder capitalism compared to the stakeholder capitalism that the World Economic Forum and the IMF and these CEOs are trying to jam down our throats. That I really just said, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to worry about time like I normally do in my videos. I'm just going to get everything off my chest and outline everything I want to outline for this video. So we'll see if people like it.